Wednesday and Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. here on the TAN Talk Radio Network.
Tampa Bay's TAN Talk, entertaining and informative radio for the Sunshine State.
It's time for BeLocal Buzz with Devin. Devin is the owner and publisher of Stroll Harbor Bluffs and BeLocal Beaches magazines. She's also the founder of Raising Relief Foundation and the host of BeLocal Buzz on the TAN Talk Radio Network. Now here's Devin, your community connector.
Good afternoon, everyone, and holy heat wave out there. And welcome to BeLocal Buzz with Devin, your community connector, here every Thursday on TAN Talk Radio. Evan, I love seeing you back there. How's it going there, buddy?
Fantastic. How are you?
You ready for a very interesting, just the subject matter today might be a little deep at times, but you know what? It needs to be said. So if anyone's going to say it, it's going to happen here on BeLocal Buzz. So I just want to give you a heads up.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. I am wearing my Raising Relief Foundation t-shirt right now because I just came from the coolest thing. You know, there are some parents that are really, really, really doing the right thing and bringing up their children. I was at Stephanic's Barbershop.
Love them.
Yes.
Cooper used to get his haircut there.
Oh, well, they're over there in Bel Air Bluffs on Indian Rocks Road. And Irina's the mom, and she's the owner. And again, it's Stephanic's Barbershop. And their second grade son, Luca, set up a lemonade stand, and the proceeds are going to the Raising Relief Foundation.
Yay. That's amazing.
So it's super amazing. The kids are giving back already, and what a little mathematician he is. He knew we have $257 he raised.
Oh,
so
wow, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
Good for him.
And it's so cute because I said to him, well, what if someone asked you what Raising Relief Foundation does? He goes, well, it helps people that are in need. It helps the hurricane people. It helps animals that aren't, being treated nicely. And it also helps kids get an education in case they want to be a doctor, and they can be whatever they want.
It's amazing.
Very well. That's a very conscious little boy.
Yes, it was amazing. So again, a big shout out to Stephanic's Barbershop, Irina, her son Luca, and everyone else that was involved with the lemonade stand. They are there till 5. So if you're listening to this, I want you to put your GPS, Stephanic's Barbershop, and get over there in Bel Air Bluffs and get some lemonade. It's only $2, and it's very, very good.
And great haircuts, too.
Oh, yeah. They do great job. Marco's there.
Oh, I love that. Well,
Yeah.
Rob used to go there.
Until?
He shaved his head.
Okay. Well, there we go.
There you go.
Enjoy lemonade.
There we
Enjoy
go.
the lemonade. Yeah.
So I have amazing guests on today, and we're here on the last Thursday of May because we are actually finishing up the Mental Health Awareness Month. And something that I want to say that I learned a long time ago, but mental health does not discriminate, okay? It's just like abuse, domestic violence, sexual abuse. It does not discriminate, okay? It could happen to anyone, actors, singers, CEOs, moms, anyone. It does not matter. It happens to everyone. So I have brought in the experts to talk a little bit about it's okay to not be okay. The awareness is part of it, talking about it in a safe place, and everyone just kind of knowing that, oh yeah, depression. It's not like, oh, she's crazy, she has depression. No, depression's a real thing. And I have also experienced depression. My husband has experienced depression, and it's a very unmotivating thing. So if you don't get a handle on it, it affects your health, physical health, but it also affects all those other things, relationships, productivity with your job. You're calling in sick. You're worthless. You're negative. It just accumulates to which could possibly end up as suicide. Okay, so I told you it's going to be a little deep today, but you know what? It has to be talked about. And what better month than May, right?
Yeah.
So if you have any questions for any of our guests today, or myself or Evan, you can call 727-441-3000. We will be here till 5. Evan, I think we have a song for our first guest. So I'm bringing in Sharon. Actually, Sharon is a really good friend of mine. I've known her for years, and she's actually the connector of the other two beautiful ladies who not only are here and are experts in their field, however, they also are a big supporter of the Raising Relief Foundation, and I thank you for that. So I'm going to say what it actually does, not through Luca's words, okay? So the Raising Relief Foundation mission is to actually fill in the gaps to help other nonprofits or people in our community that affect all societal issues, because who are we to say that one issue is more important than the other issue? So it could be anything. It could be homeless, hunger, sexual abuse, human trafficking, veterans, foster children, autism, special needs, whatever it is, we are here to help you. And we're changing it from boots to the ground to heels to the ground.
I love that.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're changing it up a little. I'm going to change our website because we are really
I
heels
love
to the
that.
ground.
So
you,
good.
You know me, Sharon.
I do. You like some heels, and
Yeah,
I'd like
I
to
like some
steal
heels,
them.
and I've been trucking through the mud in heels. I'm good with that. I don't care. I like my heels.
Well, look at these that I'm wearing.
I know.
Mhm.
Those are the sneak peeks.
That's
right?
it, baby.
Yeah. Okay, Evan. Let's introduce Sharon, our connector of this amazing force in the studio today. So, do we have a song for her?
Be not so nervous, be not so frail. Someone watches you, you will not fail. Be not so nervous, be not so frail. Be not so nervous, be not so frail. Be not so sorry for what you've done. You must forget them now, it's done. When you wake up, you'll find that you can run. Be not so sorry for what you've done.
So, Sharon,
Who sings that?
it's from The Walking Dead. I don't know if it's the show Walking Dead or the band The Walking Dead.
Are
but
you saying I'm like The Walking Dead, Devin? Is that what's happening? here on
no,
the show?
I am
This
saying
is my
that
radio
you are
voice.
helping that you help people, right?
I'm kidding.
In your
Yes.
profession.
Thank
Hey, it's
you.
a very serious show. You know, BeLocal Buzz has no laughter on it at all.
We can even laugh during Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes,
Who knew?
of course.
Mhm.
Right. So you help people not be
Yes.
fearful. Welcome to BeLocal Buzz with Devin.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
having you here and back.
Thank
Last time you were
you.
here, we talked about your book.
Yes, my
So-
first book, and now we have another one. Look at that.
Okay, so I was going to say, catch us up. Tell our listeners and our viewers. Oh yeah, we got to wave to our YouTube live people.
Hi.
Hi. Fill us in on what you do. Remind us what you're doing and what is going on here with this new book I got to get.
Yeah. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And I love Raising Relief.
Thank you.
And I got to see Devin in full action after the hurricanes. And it was very impressive. And my husband and I were speaking about what Raising Relief Fund does and having Cooper get involved. And we got a list of supplies that were needed through your organization. And we went shopping together and we dropped everything off together. So it was a really special, in such a hard time, it was very special to be able to unite as a community,
Yeah.
right? So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you for participating and helping for
It's
sure.
my pleasure. So, so what do I do? So I didn't always talk about mental health in the workplace, that's for sure, but that is what I do now. And I wrote my first book in 2019, my memoir, The Broken Road to Mental Health in Life and in Business. And then right after the hurricanes, released the second book, The Broken Open Road to Mental Health. It is my business. So the timing of both of mine, one before the pandemic and the next one before the hurricane. So watch out when my next book comes. We have no idea what's going to happen. But I thought it was time that we started having these conversations so we could normalize it. I'm not really a huge fan of the word stigma, probably just because it's used so much. I don't think that there's anything wrong with talking about mental health, because if we don't have any mental health, we don't have any physical health. That's a fact. So I suffered from alcoholism, addiction, depression, was suicidal, and I'm very lucky that I'm here today. So every day is a gift and a miracle. So why wouldn't I give back to our community and to whoever else needs the help? Because, you know, I survived. So talking about it just opens an opportunity for other people's to have these conversations and to normalize it. So now I've been in business for the last 11 years by myself. I've, run medical practices in New York to Clearwater. I've had wonderful clients, 2 of them sitting here with us, but they're friends. All of my clients have, thankfully become friends, or they're friends first and they become clients, because we get to have conversations not just about business, but about life. Because, just like my book says, it is my business, because there shouldn't be any differentiation between our business life and our personal life. How we do life is how we do business. So if you are shady in your personal life, you will be shady in your business life. That is a fact. So so now I speak about it. I do keynote speeches about it. I just got back from Hilton Head, delivered my keynote to the Georgia MGMA, which is, an acronym for something. It's medical. And
Congratulations.
and then I just was able to speak at the senior living facility here in Largo about caring for the caregivers, just opening this conversation so we can normalize it, but also to talk about, like, do you guys know what it means to regulate your nervous system? Do you know what it does for you when you can be silent and still and meditate? And so there's a lot there, Devin, but I think, in a nutshell, my whole goal is to just normalize this conversation. I'm very open about the fact that I am sober now, 30 years.
Congratulations.
Thank
again.
you. I don't think everybody thought it was a great idea for me to tell everybody, but I think, oh yeah.
We'll say that for another show, because I don't get that kind of stuff. But go ahead. You just go be you. I'm going to be me. Everyone else be themselves, right?
Well, I think because there is so much, because in the business community, because I was working with physicians, when you're working, as some might say, high level professionals, maybe they wouldn't want to work with somebody that had a past. So that was the conversation that I was hearing. Now, it doesn't matter to me. Obviously, you all know me here at this table, but for anybody out there, if you can be a resource for somebody to not feel so alone or isolated by the disease of alcoholism, addiction, or depression, then I believe that we have a gift that we can give somebody else so they don't feel so alone.
Exactly. So, well, before we get to that, this is BeLocal Buzz with Devin. We got Sharon here. If you want to talk to any of our guests today, please call 727-441-3000. Now, if you've just gotten your car or you've turned on your laptop or whatever, and you're watching us and you kind of say, darn, I wish I would have seen this whole thing or heard this whole thing, you could actually go back after the show and go on YouTube, because it is being videotaped. So you can find it on TAN Talk Radio Network. Sharon, every guest has a little trivia question. Don't look at, hey, she's already looking at my notes. She's already trying to cheat. Okay. So yours, don't be surprised if you don't get it. No one usually does. I think last week I had a guest that did, and I would love if you did. But what are the 5 C's of mental health? First of all, when I was looking up trivia questions, I didn't realize that everyone has the 5 C's of mental health, the 4 G's of mental health, the 6 F's of mental health. It's just kind of crazy. So now I'm curious about it. So what are the 5 C's of mental health?
Jeez Louise. I'm going to throw some out there.
Okay.
From my heart. Okay. So compassion.
Yes.
Care.
Yes.
Connection.
Yes.
Community.
Yes.
Oh, look at you.
Hold on.
Go, girl.
Well, I'm in it. I'm thinking collaboration, but it's probably not it.
It's coping. But you know what?
Coping.
4 out of 5.
All right, thank you. Where's my prize?
It
The
is.
shoes?
I don't know.
The shoes you're wearing? Okay.
Yes. Okay. So, well, congratulations. She got 4. Evan, that's
Thank you
pretty
very
good.
much.
We gotta
Thank you,
give her a-
Evan.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
nice.
yeah. Good,
Thank
good,
you.
good. Okay. You can find applause or something. Evan, do be a producer thing over there. Okay. So we're talking about mental health awareness. And what I just found, because I just came back from a real situation where my best friend's husband actually shot himself. And without any warning, I mean, he got up, he left, she watched him leave on the camera to know that that was going to be the last time they were going to see each other. He knew that, but she didn't know that. So Sharon, what I want to open this up to, and I'll also ask you the same as my other guests, People are suffering in silence. Okay. Robin Williams. I mean, let's just talk about these people. They're suffering in silence. I don't want people to suffer in silence. No one wants people to suffer in silence. How do we break, you hate that word stigma. I don't know what else to say at this point, but how do we break that stigma that you don't have to suffer in silence? And a lot of people have suicidal thoughts. It's the people that are actually acting on it that we want you to know that, again, it's okay to not be okay. And there is help out there. So you don't have to do that, because what you do to your families, I don't think you understand what you do to the people that you leave behind. And it's definitely not a selfish thing. You don't realize that. But what the reality is you don't have to get to that level of depression where that's the only answer. So what do you say?
Well, yeah. I mean, again, I'm going to go back to this word normalize instead of stigma. If we were just normalizing this conversation, if we were showing other people that we were not doing well, it's very obvious to me, maybe it's not obvious to everybody else, that there are not a lot of spaces where people feel okay to speak about how they're really doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you ask somebody, how are you? And then they go, fine, I'm fine.
Which we all do.
Well, you, maybe, not me. Don't ask me. It'll be a good 20 minutes of me telling you how I really am. But if somebody that we know, you just got back from this horrific event with somebody very close to you, I would be, how are you? And then
I would tell you, being close to you, I would say, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would be quiet. I would listen to you. Even if there was silence, I would be okay with being uncomfortable in the silence and waiting for you to tell me how you're really doing. Because I think the thing that most people do is that they try to fill the silence.
Mm.
And because they're uncomfortable.
That's exactly right.
Yes, it's everywhere. It's so common. So this is, of course, there are many things that we should be doing, right? We should go to therapy. We should reach out. We can call 988. There's a crisis center. There's many resources. There's all of these great resources. But if we're going to normalize the conversation, we have to be willing to be uncomfortable. So for example, if I'm having a difficult time and somebody says to me, oh, don't be upset, right? Well, actually, it would be very normal for me to be upset, considering the situation that I'm currently in, that I'm describing. So it's this, and that doesn't mean that I'm uncomfortable. That means that you're uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And that's I know that. So we have to give somebody the opportunity to tell us how they are. And if you, or not you personally, but if people around us are always just like, I'm great. And it's like, really? Like, well, we just came out of these hurricanes. Are you really great? Because you've been displaced since September. So you're great? Okay. Well, then I'm not going to tell you how I'm doing, because I'm not great. I mean, I am great right now. And you were, this Kate Spade bag that you had your eye on.
I know.
Yeah, I have it very far away from you. But I only purchase Kate Spade bags.
Oh.
And I only wear Marc Jacobs purses because, first of all, Kate Spade died by suicide.
Yes,
I don't think that many people would think that Kate Spade had a hard life. But that is what makes me sad, is that people don't have enough people around them that make it safe not to be okay.
Right.
So we have to do better. It's not looking at the person that is depressed or struggling or suffering. We have to do better as people that might not be struggling to have these conversations. So this is, this is what I do. We normalize it by really being quiet more. So listening, I always say, I feel like I'm tired of hearing myself saying it, but listening is not waiting for our opportunity to talk. So if I start talking about what's going on with me, and then Trauma Olympics starts happening and you start telling me about how bad it is for you, I'm not safe telling you how I'm doing. I need somebody to hear me. I need to be seen. I need to feel like you care. And let's keep it about me for a little while.
Yeah.
And it is very common, especially for men, that they keep everything in, because it is very unsafe for them. I had a friend called me today. He saw my post on Facebook, and he was telling me how great my post was because it was about suicide and depression and mental health.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I'm going to need you to do me a favor and not call me and tell me, but I want you to put it on my post, because if you're brave enough to call me and tell me that, I need you to be more brave and put that out for the public consumption to see a man. And then guess what? More men were commenting. We have to make it okay, but I'm more concerned about the men because we like to talk, girls. We are on TAN Talk right now.
We have community and tribes. And
yes,
things,
we do. We talk about our feelings and our emotions. It's a lot safer for the women because we really do that. That's who we are. So we have to help. We have to somehow help the men feel okay.
So I have
talk.
to interrupt that because did Kelly talk to you about the Raise Relief Foundation program called Help Inspire Men?
She did not.
I have a logo
Kelly.
and everything. It's Help Inspire Men that we are going to be launching hopefully in this year, if not early next year. And that's what it's all about. It's about giving men the safe space. We're going to invite people that we already know in the community that could just use a little support. And we got some cool initiatives with it. So
I love that. Well, I want to jump in with something else, Devin, while I have the opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm most concerned about the people that help everybody.
She's looking at me. Oh,
Well, I'm looking at this environment. No,
okay. Yeah, that's a good thing to.
yeah, because that would be me. That was me. So this is why I wrote book number 2.
Then I'll definitely read that.
Well, because, sometimes we don't always have to help everybody. We have to help ourselves first before we can help somebody else.
Yeah.
Because then we just get lost in it. And then all we're doing is helping everybody around us and we just melt away. So, I'm going to put that out there.
And I could see where that could happen because I was like, oh my God, like when the hurricane, when I was out there every single day and bringing in, crying and hugging and helping everyone else. I came home, I was like, Mark, I don't know. It's really getting to me. Like it's really getting to me.
Yeah.
And I, the worst thing I have is a loss of electricity.
Yeah.
So yes, we'll have a little private lunch on that. I don't want to take up the show, but anyways, this is BeLocal Buzz with Devin, your community connector over here on TAN Talk Radio. Sharon, what is the name of your new book and how can someone find it?
So
and how can someone find you?
I'm everywhere. Just type my name in, Sharon Fecketti, into Google, and you'll get more information than you ever wanted, actually. But it's The Broken Open Road to Mental Health in Life and in Business. It is on Audible. It's on Amazon, but Bezos is making plenty of money. So if you're local and you want to purchase it from me, feel free. I have Venmo and Cash App. But you could also listen to it on Audible. I also wanted to say that, I am in therapy. I'm in somatic therapy now. I've been in therapy for many, many years. And I think if we really, really want to help somebody else, we need to start talking about that we are getting help ourselves. So I love nothing more than like recording when I'm walking into my therapist's office.
Yeah.
Because we really have to make it okay. So we can say all these great things, especially in this hashtag month, which is what I call it and my dear friend Natasha Pierre calls it. And there'll be another hashtag month, which is in September, Suicide Prevention Month. And they're great. It gives us opportunities to talk. But really, we have to do more than that.
Right.
So if we want other people to get help and not kill themselves, then we have to be willing to do that work too.
All right. Thank you for that,
Thank
Sharon.
you.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. So we are talking to some experts on mental health awareness. And my next guest, Evan, are you ready for this? And if you want to talk to anyone again, you can call 727-441-3000. And Gianna's next.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't get a song?
Yes, you do.
Oh,
But he's Evan. Oh, of course you get a song. Evan knows. He knows.
Help! I need somebody help, not just anybody help. I need someone help. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. But now these days are gone, I'm not so self-assured. Now I find I've changed my mind and opened up the doors.
And thank you for being here today on BeLocal Buzz with Devin and helping the people the way that you help. So again, please introduce yourself and tell us what your main field is and what you do.
So I'm Deanna Brees. I just want to say thank you for having us on.
Absolutely.
I've been wanting to reconnect since International Women's Day back in March.
And thank you so much for that. They helped Raising Relief Foundation. So thank you so much during your event, which was amazing, Sharon.
Yes, we could not have done it without
I know.
Sharon.
Yes.
So again, my name's Deanna Brees. I'm the co-owner of Ideal Life Counseling, along with my partner here, Mona McGregor. We also have a networking group specifically for mental health professionals and other people in the healing field called Cocktails with Counselors.
Okay.
And I think we're up to probably close to 500 members now.
Very cool.
I'm super proud of that.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's amazing.
It's really an amazing group of mental health professionals, and we just refer to each other. It's a support system. It's a great group.
All right. So you're not going to get off without any little trivia here.
Oh, gosh.
So mental health disorders show up before what age? And that's why early intervention is crucial.
So I think that question is really dependent on what mental health issues we're talking about.
Oh, she's one of those, Evan. She's going to answer a question with a question.
Well,
Give me
I think it's
an
true.
age.
We can, young kids can have mental health issues from a very, very early age, whether
Right.
that's depression, anxiety,
Sure.
even going through transitions, if their parents are getting a divorce, ADHD. So there's really I don't know if
So the
there's a
correct
certain age.
answer is 14, according to Mrs. Google. So
I'm not sure I agree with Mrs. Google on that. Because I
Okay,
think
well-
I'm right, Evan.
Okay. What age did you say?
Oh, I said a very early age.
Oh, okay.
I didn't give a specific age.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, 14's when you're my age, 14 is really early. But yes, I'm sure it happens at 8, 9,
But
6.
there are
yeah.
certain disorders that cannot be diagnosed before a certain age, and that's generally adolescence. So things like bipolar disorder, more chronic issues like schizophrenia.
Right.
But you can have depression, anxiety at any age, unfortunately.
Yes, that's true. But it's how you cope with it, right? We talked about coping a little bit earlier with Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you specialize in? And what can you say to our listeners and viewers? Something about, again, it's okay to not be okay, safe space, and what you should do about, and depression. Everyone has a certain amount of depression, but it's how you deal with it. I think everyone has depression, right? But it's how you can get yourself in and out of it, except for not everyone has depression.
I think people are sad, but
I think depression is very different than being sad.
But I think it's, okay, and when this is your field, but I guess it's how you get in and out of those cycles.
So depression is actually the common cold of mental illness.
Mhm.
And so it is, and so what that means is so many people will experience depression and it's curable.
Right.
And just to talk about male depression, I think one of the reasons it's so maybe misdiagnosed is that male depression looks very different in a lot of males. So it comes across as anger, irritability, frustration, rage.
So you're saying it looks different according to women? Is
It
that what you're
can.
saying? Oh, okay.
It can.
Sure,
it can
yeah.
also look similar. You know, we think of depression as people who aren't getting out of bed, who aren't taking care of their hygiene, who are crying all day. So I'm not saying men can experience depression in that way, but it's often misdiagnosed because it can look so different.
Okay.
But you asked me about my specialties.
Yeah.
So I have a pretty general practice. I see people across the lifespan from 10 to 100 years old.
Okay.
Mostly people who are suffering from or trying to cope with anxiety, depression, life transitions, really just people who are trying to emotionally heal. I have a couple of other trainings. One is as a parenting coordinator, and the other is as a Florida Supreme Court, family mediator. So I think that gives me a unique set of skills to work with families that are in high conflict.
Yeah.
I just recently added cognitive behavior therapy for insomnia, so I'm very
okay.
excited about that.
Wow,
I just
that's
recently got
really
certified
good.
after.
Congratulations.
Thank you. After having numerous doctors ask me if I specialized in that, I think Mona, you can probably attest to how many people suffer from insomnia.
Oh my God. And then it affects everything, right?
It affects everything, medically,
That's right.
physically. Are you raising your
Yes,
hand?
I'm raising my hand.
Medically, physically, psychologically, mentally,
Yes.
how we function. It isn't just a disorder of not being able to sleep.
Yeah. Productivity at work, right,
productivity.
Sharon? I mean,
Mhm.
that's a huge one.
Yeah.
So what do you say? How does someone know if they're ready to pick up the phone to call you? Like, what can you say to someone? Because that can be very intimidating. I mean, very intimidating and scary. And what do you say to someone that, like, should someone do that? Or how do they find you?
Well, that's two different questions.
Yes,
I think
it is.
the
I'm
first
good at
question
that.
is the first question is anytime we're feeling distressed or whatever we're experiencing is interfering with our life, I think that's the time to pick up the phone. Mona and I both are relationship counselors, and statistically, couples come in for their first therapy session after 6 years, after 6 years from the problem starting. And so when you start to notice that you're feeling distressed, your life isn't feeling fulfilled, I think that's the time to call. I don't think it's during the time of a crisis, although you can also call then. Okay. But before that happens, before we're just feeling at our very lowest, at the bottom.
But is that when, and this is a question, I don't know, is that when people actually do call, when they are at their lowest and they're almost desperate and they feel like, well, we have to give it one last try? I've been in marriage counseling and that was it. And of course, marriage counseling was the answer for me to leave, to be honest with you, because we probably waited too long, like you're saying. So how do you know someone, or how do you tell someone to be more proactive about it?
That's a good question. And because of the stigma of mental health, it's hard, right? And I think that that's changing somewhat. I've been in practice, for over 30 years now. So
how can that be? She looks like 30. How can that, Evan, how can that be? She looks like 30. I don't understand this.
You've been practicing your entire life.
I
Is that
have.
it?
I have.
Yes,
I came out of the womb as a mental health counselor.
Because the math's not working out in my head, just saying. But go ahead.
So I've been able to see that shift. And you also see it with social media, which can be good and can be bad.
Yeah.
But with social media, I think there's a lot more awareness and a lot more acceptance of reaching out for help before it's too late. I know Sharon is amazing at bringing people together to help normalize mental health in a really kind of judgment-free space. And we need more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, that was good. That was good. But I'm just thinking, like, I guess I can't get out of my head what I just experienced, right? I was in Tennessee with my girlfriend and, she's going through, maybe I could have done more. And it's like, no, what could you have done? I mean, should I have asked more questions? But how do you ask questions if you don't know that you should be asking questions? I mean, these are questions that you just kind of leave the family out there lost, right? Well,
my hope is, it's wonderful that we have Mental Health Awareness Month, but my hope is that this isn't just a once a year campaign. We really
I know. And I almost hate these little months, like Domestic Violence Awareness Month in October. It's like, okay, but that doesn't mean that's the only month we should be talking about it. So I kind of don't even approve of this, but no one asked me if that was okay. So I'm just rolling with it because it should be all the time.
Yeah,
these issues.
I think we do need to have Mental Health Awareness Month, Suicide Prevention Month, Pride Month. Like we need to, because we need to bring awareness. But it really needs to be, rather than a once a year campaign, a movement, like worldwide, where people can get the support, the acceptance, feel empowered to take care of their mental well-being all of the time.
So I have a question. Does it help the movement, as you're talking about, when actors or singers, famous people come out and talk about their depression or their suicidal thoughts? Mm-hmm. Or does that help? Because I go back to the Robin Williams, like what a shock. I mean, the world was, right? I mean, that was probably one of the most shocking things I've heard. And then you brought up Kate Spade. That was totally shocking too. So it doesn't help your field if someone really comes out and says, hey, you know what? This is how I feel. And this is how I dealt with it.
I think it does because it normalizes it. Like you said, mental health doesn't discriminate.
Right.
Doesn't matter your age, as we talked about. It doesn't matter your financial status. It doesn't matter your education level. It doesn't matter what color you are, what gender you are.
Right.
It doesn't discriminate. So the more awareness that people have, the more we can normalize it.
Right. How does someone get in contact with you? So you help individuals and couples? Yes.
Individual couples and families.
Okay.
They can go to our website, ideallifecounseling.com, and you can look at both Mona and I and decide who would be the better fit. She has some additional specialties than I have,
which we'll hear about later. You want to stay tuned for that. Okay.
Yeah. My specialty with treating insomnia literally puts you to sleep, and Mona's will bring all kinds of excitement.
Again, you want to hang in there. So this is BeLocal Buzz with Devin. It's on every Thursday from 4 to 5 on TAN Talk Radio. Again, if you missed some of the show, you can always go to TAN Talk Radio Network on YouTube Live. So what is your website one more time? And then I do have a question. Are they in person, Zoom, or both?
Yep. So the website is ideallifecounseling.com. We also have a Facebook page that you can visit. We do both virtual and in-person appointments. Our physical office is in Oldsmar.
Okay. Excellent. Is there any last thing you want to say to our viewers or our listeners?
That's putting me on the spot.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know.
I
think just remembering that if you're suffering, you're not alone.
Yeah.
I think that's an important message for people to hear.
Sharon, I wasn't really fair to you because I asked you what the 5 C's of mental health was, but I didn't ask her what the 4 D's in psychology is. So it's
all right, Mona, are you going to help me here?
It's trivia time. Yeah, that wasn't very nice to Sharon. So anyways, go ahead. What are the 4 D's in psychology? Sharon, you can help too.
Does anybody want to help? Anybody?
Anyone. Evan, you can even jump in there.
Deviant?
Yes. Deviant, yes. Okay.
Come on, Mona.
I'm going to say desire, but I don't think that's right.
Oh,
well, that's because you're
everyone
in your
will
field.
understand why she said that in a
We'll
minute.
talk why she's saying it's
How about deception?
no, but that could maybe we'll add the
Disorder?
50s.
How about dissociate?
Dissociate, disorder,
Disease,
Dysfunction.
dysfunction.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Mona and I kind of said it at the same time, so we can do a baba. There we go.
So what do we have?
How many have we got?
We have 2: deviance and dysfunction,
Delirium.
distress. Yes, distress.
I said that word already.
Oh, you did?
Distress. I said
I'm so
no,
sorry.
not in this case. Not in this.
Oh,
I
okay.
said it
And
when
then
you should
one
reach out for
more.
help.
Something that you're going to do that is going to be
Debunked.
dangerous.
Dangerous.
All right. Okay,
Well,
so
I
we
failed
got
that
deviance,
miserably. That's why I'm not a
dysfunction, distress,
psychologist.
and danger. Okay. Whew, that was
That was
tough.
stressful.
Yeah, that was hard. All right, Evan's on the phone. Evan, get off the phone. And we have Mona. Evan,
Maybe he has a caller.
maybe it's his girlfriend.
His
Evan?
caller.
Was it your girlfriend?
I'm sorry. No. It was a lady from California.
Oh, did you tell her that you're on the air with a very important BeLocal Buzz with Devin show?
I did. I said, call me back in 20 minutes.
All right. All right. So we have Mona here in the studio, and thank you for being here, but we have a song for her, right?
I've gotta keep the calm before the storm. I don't want less, I don't want more. I bar the windows and the doors to keep me safe, to keep me warm. Yeah, my life is what I'm fighting for.
Evan, I have to come clear. If I really would have known what Mona specializes in, Head Above Water would not have been the song I would have picked. However, next time she's on the show, where it's going to be a whole different vibe there. Mona, welcome to BeLocal Buzz with Devin. So glad to have you here today. So tell us what you do. And again, so excited to have you here.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
it's really a treat. And again, I want to just sort of go back and thank you again for everything you did for International Women's Day, our big
my
event.
pleasure. You kidding me, you
It
guys?
was just a joy, all the people that you brought together, and to find an incredible charity that supports so many local groups. That's because we're all about supporting within our community. So we
Of
just
course.
really appreciate
Oh, thank
all the people that you brought together to help us make that such a success.
Oh, thank you for
Yes,
that. Thank you. All right. So,
Okay.
all right. So,
So-
what does she? So, of
yeah.
course, so everyone else is talking about distress, dysfunction. She comes out with desire. So, why, when we were talking about the 4Ds in psychology, would desire come out of your mouth? Sharon, what, right?
I know why.
Yeah, I know I now. So that's why I said I would play a totally different song. But go ahead.
Desire is my favorite word
Why is that?
because it is the driving force for so many things. You know, that whole, whether it's creating something new, connecting with somebody new, our careers, our relationships, our community, it comes from a space of this burning desire for something different, for change, for enhancing something or elevating something. So I love that word. Understanding what our desires are. About mental health months is understanding what our desires are, what we want, and what we need to just care ourselves. We then have the capacity to be in support of our family and our friends and our community. Right? Because I believe that our purpose on earth is to be of service.
I agree. I agree. So I just think that you made me fall in love with the word desire. So let me ask you a question because I'm a business coach. Okay. And when you say desire, I think goals. Okay. What is the difference? How would you describe the difference? Or is it kind of the same?
Well, I think there's just something a little bit.
You're warm and fuzzy, and I'm just like goal
Yeah,
setting.
but I think
right.
there's something a bit spicier and exciting about desire, because goals are great. Don't get me wrong, but when you function from desire, I think you're connecting with your emotions. Like why do this? If it's a change in your career, if it's a change in a relationship, whatever we're endeavoring to do, if it's something in our community, it's how do we want to feel? Like there's this thing we want to do or accomplish. And unless we can access how that's going to make us feel and feel it now, will keep us from getting there a little more quickly. So when you can access that, then it helps you to sort of get to where you want to be. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what I like about it. I think it's a little more, because we have to connect with the emotions and the thoughts in order to get those wheels turning toward what it is that we want.
Okay, very good. So what do you do? Let's just put it
okay.
out there.
So
Let's just put it out there. Evan, you listening? Listeners, listen up, turn the radio up. This is very exciting. And I'm actually so excited to have you on the show that you're right. We could have a whole show about this, but go ahead.
So I'm a licensed mental health counselor. I'm in practice with my dear friend, Deanna Brees with Ideal Life Counseling. So I'm a licensed mental health counselor. But I specialize in clinical sex therapy. And in the state of Florida, you have to call yourself a clinical sex therapist, you have to have an additional sort of degree or specialty in that area. And I've had the pleasure of being able to do that, work in that field for over 20 years. I'm working on a PhD in clinical sexology right now, and I'm hoping my dissertation will be working on desire disorder in perimenopausal and menopausal women, because sexual health and mental health go hand in hand. So
Sure
I
does.
really want, it's really my passion to create a sex positive culture, to rid the stigma and that taboos about sex and be able to have normalized conversations.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, right. So if you don't have a healthy sex, right, you have to go to this one over here for marriage counseling. And then, I don't know, then we go to Kinnear Smith for divorce court. I don't know. So anyways, how do you get people to talk about it? Okay. We talked a little bit. when we were outside the
Sure.
studio about people only really want to talk about sex when they're having good sex. Okay. No one ever talks about it when it's failing, it's not good, it's not working, it doesn't feel good. All the things that happen to people when they get older.
Right. Well, first of all, I don't think enough people are talking about sex enough of the time. Let's just start
All right,
with
so
that.
my friend, hanging with a different group than everyone else.
People think I've
We're
got this
talking about sex
great
a lot.
big group
This
of girlfriends that
Yeah.
all sit around and we all talk about our sex lives. It doesn't happen. I would love it to happen. I am there. There's full space for that. But what's interesting is a lot of times people will come in.
Do you want to come out with us Saturday night?
All right, let's talk. They'll come in and they'll say, well, our problem is we have a sex problem. And it's never just a sex problem. I mean, when there are issues with the sexual relationship, whatever that might be, it's not going to be because just because there's some kind of sexual dysfunction or your bodies are not working the way you would like them to. It is definitely going to be tied to communication with partnership. It's going to be tied to stress, fatigue, mental issues like anxiety, depression, possibly trauma. It's never just, okay, what do we do with these two body parts and how do we make that more interesting? So that's what people come in. And so I think a lot of people would love to come in and leave my office with 3 quick skills, to take home and try that. They're hoping you could glean that from Cosmopolitan. But there's so much more to that, because in order for people to have great sex, a great intimacy, there has to be safety and security and respect, all kinds of things to create that space. And especially for, well, I can speak for men. I have not personally, but for women, you give one version of a woman, but when you sensually or sexually, but when she's in a partnership with someone that sees her, hears her,
Talked about that, yeah.
makes her feel safe, makes her feel adored, because surveys say that women love to be adored, men love to be admired, that you are going, when a woman opens up, you're gonna get just so much more. And she's gonna be in her happiest and healthiest space and more open and willing and honest, and her feeling good means everybody else feels good. So, and I'm not just pro women, trust me. I mean,
No.
my clients are
I
both
didn't-
genders, and I love to be in support of that, but
I didn't even get the impression that you were just pro women at all, but what you just talked about.
they are my second favorite gender, by the way, men.
Well, good. Okay. So you can come onto our HIM program. Okay. You can tell everyone that.
I would love to.
So now what about the people that you talked about, menopausal, perimenopausal, that really are having, oh my God, what's the word I'm talking about?
No sex? I don't know.
No,
What are you trying to say
estrogen
then?
levels are wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Testosterone levels are wrong. It actually is imbalance of hormones. There we go. Ooh.
There you go.
Well, that is definitely going to make a difference as our bodies change. And I'm having Donna on here. She's the person to talk
Yes,
about the
I know.
specifics on that.
So I told you Donna and
Gonzalez.
Kelly, and
Right.
that would be great, right?
But when those levels change and we stop ovulating and menstruating, absolutely, there are all kinds of changes in our ability to lubricate. Our orgasms, not maybe just quite as strong as they used to be, and all kinds of different things. Our sleep issue. If we're not sleeping,
brain
then
fog.
brain fog, and we're without sleep, we experience a lot more anxiety. Anxiety is the biggest libido buster. When I say libido, that's sex drive. So that is why mental health is so important to sexual health. You've got to start with yourself, and work on and heal and care for all parts of yourself so that you can show up even with yourself, by yourself, or with a partner. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah. Someone, I have a question. So someone comes and just kind of knows that things aren't just right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they don't really know if they need to talk to you, Deanna. Do they go on your website? And how does the whole process work once someone says, you know what, I'm just going to check it out?
Right. And I think that Deanna and I will get, we very similar methodologies and philosophies. We do a lot of teamwork together
Oh,
because
okay.
I
That's
refer a
good,
lot of
good.
people to Deanna because I
Yeah,
know exactly
course.
what they're going to get. And we lots of times work with, I might see an individual, she might see the couple. We work together in support of that if they're open to that. I think probably what ends up happening with me is somebody might be having sexual dysfunction or looking for sexual enhancement or something in that. And that's probably what separates them choosing you as a couples counselor and coming to me. And so, within that first session, we talk a little bit about, why they're there. And my line is always like, I'm here for you. Your goal is my goal. I'm here to ride shotgun and help you get from point A to point B, whatever that is. So I ask questions and cover all the domains, all the relationship questions, the sexual questions, the health questions. And I know you do as well, to just find out exactly where maybe the pain points are and how long that's been going on. I normally have, and I think Tiana does too, if we're working with a couple, we'll have an individual session with them. So they have that private sacred space to tell us a little bit more, to get a little more insight into what's happening in the relationship. And then in that first session, we establish some goals. If you're going to choose to come in for counseling, what would you like your life and your relationship to look like? This is your time. I'm here for you. So we get a clear idea of, again, the pain points, where this relationship is hurting. And then we can come up with some long-term goals and short-term goals. We're both big on giving homework. We're both cognitive therapists. We want them to have some things to do and try when they leave the office. Listen to this podcast, read this book, those types of things.
That's excellent. And how does someone find you again?
So you can Google Mona McGregor, and I'm there, or Ideal Life Counseling. And I see people both virtually and in person at our office in Oldsmar.
Okay. And your trivia question is,
Okay.
I don't have any 5 C's, 4 D's
Lucky.
questions. Sorry.
Okay.
So what is the most common mental disorder?
Oh, I would have to say anxiety.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Yes. Anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
They worry about everything, panic. And that's a real thing for sure.
Is. And for all of us.
Yeah.
We all will go through times in our life where that is something that we're struggling with. Fortunately, now we have so many wonderful modalities besides just medication to address that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny because I thought of my mother right away because she was worried about everything. And there was an anxiety disorder back then, right? It was just like, God, she worries about everything. She's a pest. She's this. Oh my God, get off it. Just stop it. Just leave me alone. You're driving everyone crazy. But now, as of yesterday, I realized that she suffered probably a lot from an anxiety disorder that she probably should have gotten help for.
In a generation where they were absolutely not talking about mental health.
Oh God, no! I'm talking about in the 70s,
Stiff
whatever.
upper lip.
Oh
yeah.
no,
That's
didn't even have
the
a
thing
word.
that makes me so sad. Is
It didn't have a word.
No, they didn't.
Domestic violence didn't have a word.
Were considered neurotic.
Right. All right. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. She's okay.
I was diagnosed with hyper irritability by a male doctor when I disagreed with him. So yes,
Oh my God. All right. So
I got that removed from my medical records. So
Evan's
no
giving me
worries.
the finger. Oh, see,
Oh.
look at
Well, right back at you.
Evan. All right. So I just want to say one thing that's going on. First of all, thank you to all my guests. Thank you for listening and our viewers. But when you're out this weekend, Raising Relief Foundation has started this new program. It's called Kids and Teens Birthday Club. You will find boxes in the following location: Coastal Market 607 in Largo, Bel Air Market in Bel Air Bluffs, Village Inn in Largo, the original Krabby Bills on Indian Rocks Beach, and VIP Mexican on Indian Rocks Beach.
We saw it at VIP Mexican
cool.
restaurant.
And
Yes.
what we are doing is collecting gifts and toys for kids and teens' birthdays. It makes our heart hurt that everyone does this for Christmas time, but no one actually thinks about the one day that is actually celebrating the birth of this child. And we're giving it to foster homeless people and poverty-stricken children. So thank you so much. I will see you and talk to you next Thursday from 4 to 5.
WTAN, Clearwater,
FM 106.1,
WDCF, Dade City,
FM 102.3.
Listen.
With the president's use of an emergency powers law to impose tariffs, a federal appeals court has for now allowed them to continue. Olivia Rinaldi reports.
This administrative stay was put on as